Hi, my name's Dave. I'm a scheduling specialist at Just Planet, and today I'd like to introduce you to a capability that may be very handy for folks who do final assemblies or a finished product that has multiple sub-assemblies coming together that are required at that time. So let's look at how I've configured my environment here. I've got multiple jobs here, and this is a simple set of jobs right now. But ultimately, we've got my 100 series products. Those are my sub-assemblies that are required from my final assembly, which is the 500 down here below. And of course, it's scheduled appropriately so that I have the sub-assemblies all being finished before I get to this assembly step here. All right, and then that's what these diamonds are, showing you the dates that they are due and should be finished by that period of time. Of course. Okay, so now there's other jobs down here, the 200 series. They are going into the 501. And again, their due dates and when they're needed for the assembly of that particular product. All good so far, right? So now, as we know in manufacturing, stuff happens, and what I'm going to do is simulate that. I'm going to click on this job here. You'll notice that I've got three operations for this one here. So I've got a cut machine, and then I finish grinded wells. Okay, so now this last operation right here is scheduled to finish on the 21st. All right, and well, something happened. We had to do some rework, or people didn't show up, or material didn't arrive on time. So I'm going to move it way out here, which is, of course, a little more dramatic than typical. But we know in manufacturing, stuff happens. So I'm going to do that. And of course, that is fine. That job was not fine. It's 7 days late now. All right. Now, that's not good, of course. But you notice the final assembly, which is this one down here, it doesn't know anything about the fact that that has become late. And of course, that happens a lot in manufacturing where we get to that final assembly step here and we go to look for our sub-assemblies. We're kitting them together and some are not there. So we can't do this when we planned on doing that. So I'm going to undo that and show you how we may be able to help you solve that problem. Okay, so now I'm going to close this up a little bit here, and I'm just going to hit this job here, which is the final assembly, and I'm going to edit it. And what I'm going to do is say, hey, link these jobs. All right. And of course, you should know that I'm linking these manually. They could be either imported via a spreadsheet with that connection already, or if you're using an ERP system, you may be able to use the interface to show the bill of material sub-assemblies and make sure that they are all linked to as well. Say OK to that. And now the beauty of that is, of course, now I've got those jobs linked together. Now to kind of show you that graphically, you see how it has the lines linking them together. Now let's do what I did before. Let's move that finish, way out here to the, let's say to the 10th. All right, moving out here. So I'm going to click out there. And now, of course, what we expect to happen is that's going to go back to doing exactly what I showed before, but ultimately look at the final assembly, okay? It got moved out as well. So it can't finish, I can't start this or this particular job until these other ones are completed. All right, so I'm going to undo that. And I'm going to add another feature here that might be handy for folks too as well. So I'm going to take this final assembly here. I'm going to edit this one. And what I'm going to do is going to do similar. I'm going to do some linking here. I'm going to go ahead and say I need this part number, the 103, okay, because it's a shared assembly across multiple final assemblies. So I'm going to go over here to final assembly. I'm going to pick my 200s now, 201 and my 203. And I'm just going to say OK to that. So now I'm going to kind of show you what happens with a, potentially a shared assembly. So this shared assembly right here, let's say, that one is, running way behind schedule. So I'm moving that one out here. What you'll see now is that the sub-assembly, or the final assembly for The 500 series is now currently 8 days late because of that. All right, and that's what the red and the 8 over there is for. But the good news is that because I had some buffer, if you will, in here, the final assembly for the 501 is still going to make its due date. All right, so I don't have any adjustment need there. Now, of course, I can make that happen and say that finish step really is somewhere out here in this, the 18th or 19th, if you will. And of course, now we'll have not only the final assembly for the 500 series one have a similar issue, but both the sub-assemblies or both final assemblies have issues now. All right, so I'm going to undo both of those. Okay. And one more undo. And now I'm going to introduce what may be, if you're doing sub-assemblies and you've got some volume to your business, can become very cumbersome with your current environments that you're missing sub-assemblies often. Now I'm going to just kind of show you, I'm going to bring in a whole bunch of new jobs in here, and I'm going to import them in via a spreadsheet. Now I'm doing it via a spreadsheet now, but you could potentially do this with an ERP interface. And the good news is that we could potentially take all your data, bring it in here, and verify whether or not your sub-assemblies are going to be finished on time. Now, if I look down below here, and I've got a number of jobs that were loaded in here, I think it's a couple hundred jobs in here, but so if I look down below here, you'll see that I've got some warning signals out here. But the good news is that my plan at this point in time, and by the way, just so you know, my plan today is April 17th. All right. So far, if you will, my plan, my final assemblies and all my lower level sub-assemblies are all running pretty good. I'm running on schedule, including some orders that I haven't released to the floor. That's the light blue color ones here too as well. And I could have quoted status as well. If you have any questions or you'd like to learn more, we certainly would be happy to schedule a custom, if you will, proof of concept with your data. So please feel free to give us a shout when convenient. And look forward to chatting with you and look forward to helping you accomplish your scheduling goals. Thank you.